Welcome to Daile Dreamer, the podcast that provides practical tips and insights to help you reach your biggest dreams. Tune in for daily doses of motivation, inspiration, and actionable advice to turn your aspirations into reality. Whether you're looking to find clarity, boost your confidence, or stay on track with your goals, Daile Dreamer is here to guide you every step of the way.
All right, so we're going to dive deep into the mind of David Goggins.
Oh, yeah.
This guy's intense, right? We've got this amazing interview from the Chris Williamson channel.
Mm-hmm.
And Goggins, he does not hold back, does he?
No, he doesn't.
He gets really honest about how he pushes himself, like, to the absolute limit.
Yeah.
Physically and mentally.
You're the breaking point.
To the breaking point. But here's the thing.
Yeah.
It's not just like tough guy talk, you know?
Right.
We're going to try to uncover those strategies he uses.
Unpack it a little bit.
Yeah, unpack it that you can actually use
Yeah.
in your own life. So, like, whether you're training for a marathon
Right.
or just trying to, like, conquer your to-do list.
Yeah, he starts the interview. He's talking about this new thing he's into, smoke jumping.
What?
Yeah, smoke jumping in British Columbia.
No way.
Remote areas, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Talk about intense. Jumping out of planes, battling forest fires.
Oh, my God.
For days, no outside support.
Wow.
Harsh conditions.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and he's doing all this for, like, volunteer pay.
Really?
Essentially.
So what is it about this guy? What drives him?
It's all about pushing boundaries. That's Goggins, seeking that personal growth. And
Right.
that's the core of his whole philosophy.
Right.
Mental toughness.
Most people, I think they know him as, like, the guy who runs and yells.
Oh, yeah, the yelling guy.
But I think there's so much more to him
Oh, for sure.
than meets the eye.
He goes beyond in this interview that surface level intensity and talks about his mental training techniques.
Yeah.
He even talks about his new book, Never Finished, as a
Sure.
deeper exploration of these ideas.
Okay, so one of the things that I found really interesting
Okay.
is this whole concept of capping success.
Yeah, what is that?
I mean, it kind of sounds counterintuitive.
It does.
It's like he's actively limiting external rewards.
Right.
Recognition.
Stays hungry.
Yeah, he's staying hungry and humble.
Yeah, he thinks that chasing those things, chasing the external things, makes you complacent.
Right.
Weakens your drive over time.
He even talks about, I think it was William Crawford,
Yeah.
the Medal of Honor recipient,
Yeah.
who
yeah.
ends up working as a janitor.
Yeah, it's wild, right?
That's crazy. But he uses this story
Yeah.
to illustrate this point about what he calls
Trained humility.
trained humility.
Yeah, it's about staying grounded,
Mm.
choosing a path of service.
When you could be, hey,
Mm-hmm.
look at all this stuff I did.
Exactly. You could rest on those laurels.
Yeah. But he doesn't.
Hmm.
I think that's something we could all learn from, right?
Absolutely. It speaks to his belief in finding growth in unexpected places,
Mm.
choosing discomfort over complacency.
So Goggins also talks about this thing called the 1-second decision,
Oh, yeah.
which he describes as that, like, pivotal moment
Yeah.
where you decide,
Yeah.
am I going to push through
Push through the pain.
the
Yeah.
pain and discomfort,
Yeah.
or am I going to give in?
Right, right.
And it's something that we all face, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, whether it's hitting the snooze button
Every day.
or putting off that tough conversation.
Totally.
We all have these moments.
He uses the example of Hell Week.
Oh, God.
SEAL training, yeah, the surf torture.
Oh.
Hours in freezing water, waves crashing over you. In that moment, your mind's screaming at you to quit.
So how did he deal with that?
So he talks about detaching mentally from the pain, like he's watching himself endure it.
Right, like an observer.
Yeah, but it's not just gritting your teeth.
Mhm.
It's about training your mind to make those tough choices over and over.
Until it becomes a habit.
Exactly.
He also talks about this crazy 240-mile ultra marathon in Moab.
Oh my God.
Where he pushes himself
The limit.
to the absolute limit,
Yes.
dealing with, like, extreme physical and mental challenges.
He gets lost.
He gets lost.
Serious health issues.
Oh, wow.
Refuses to give up.
And he calls his crew back.
At 3 a.m.
3 a.m. Can you imagine?
Unbelievable.
To help him finish those last few miles.
I mean, his backside, you remember?
Oh, yeah.
Raw hamburger meat at that point.
Oh, that's awful.
It's wild.
It's wild, but it shows you how far he's willing to push himself
Absolutely.
to test those limits.
Yeah.
And you know what else he does?
What's that?
He collects hate messages
What?
and uses them as motivation during his workouts.
He seeks it out.
Yeah, he's like seeking out that negativity.
Get it into fuel.
Fuel.
Yeah.
He even sees music as cheating during training
Oh, wow.
because it distracts him
Interesting.
from like confronting that internal struggle.
Yeah, so he's choosing to train in the most mentally demanding environment.
It really makes you think, right?
Yeah, it does.
About how we try to avoid discomfort, especially during
Yeah.
training.
Right.
But he's like embracing it,
Addicted.
addicted to it.
Yeah.
So how do we turn that negativity
Right.
into a source of power
That's the question. Right.
instead of letting it like defeat us?
Yeah, it highlights this contrast in how we perceive challenges,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
Can they break us down?
Yeah.
Or are they the fire that refines us?
He's also big on mental clarity and organization.
Oh, yeah.
He talks about dedicating like 2 hours a day
Seriously.
to meditation.
Wow.
It's not just about relaxation.
Right.
He uses it to like declutter his mind,
Declare.
create these things he calls mental zones. It's like he's intentionally
Good to say.
creating space for discipline and consistency in his life.
Wow. So, like, think about it.
Yeah.
How often are we just, like, scattered,
Oh, yeah, all the time.
overwhelmed?
Yeah.
Goggins is saying, you got to organize your mind.
Mhm.
Just like you organize your physical space, that creates a foundation for
Yeah.
making those tough choices and building those mental toughness muscles.
So what does a typical day look like for him?
Oh, man.
I mean, it's not for the faint of heart.
I can imagine.
He starts each day with like a minimum 12-mile run
What?
before he even eats breakfast.
Seriously?
Just to prime his mind and body
Wow.
for the day.
That's intense.
And remember, he's all about that capping success, right?
Right. Yeah.
So it allows him to prioritize his growth and development.
Without being bogged down.
Yeah, without all those
Full
external
of demands.
demands. Yeah. After the run, he hits the gym
Of course.
for a solid workout.
Oh,
Then it's stretching and cycling.
wow.
And, of course, those 2 hours of meditation.
That's discipline.
That's intense.
Yeah.
It's like relentless pursuit of physical and mental mastery.
It's a different mindset.
So, you know, he's constantly pushing himself, right?
Oh, yeah.
Exploring those new challenges,
Yeah.
refining his approach to self-improvement.
He embodies it.
Yeah, he doesn't just talk the talk. But
Yeah.
beyond all the physical and mental training,
Yeah.
there's also this, like, really deeply personal element to his journey.
Right.
And he really explores this in Never Finished.
Yeah.
You know, going into his past, having these, like, really open and honest conversations with his mom
Mm-hmm.
about their shared trauma,
Yeah. Painful stuff.
painful stuff, and his decision to, like, finally confront his abusive father.
Tough conversations.
Tough conversations.
Yeah.
We see this different side to him, right?
For sure.
This vulnerability
Mm-hmm.
and willingness to confront those, like, deep emotional wounds.
Yeah. And in the audiobook, you can hear the raw emotion in their voices.
His mom recounts her own experiences,
Yeah,
right?
she does.
With his father, the abuse that she endured,
Wow.
and the strength it took for her to finally leave.
Heartbreaking, but powerful.
It's heartbreaking, but it really sheds light on Goggins' drive
Yeah.
to break free from those negative patterns.
And he goes a step further.
Yeah.
He reflects on his father's upbringing.
Yeah.
You know, realizing that cyclical nature of trauma,
Right.
how that impacted his dad's action.
It makes you think about, like, how much our past experiences,
For sure.
both positive and negative,
Right.
really shape who we become.
Yeah.
But he's saying, like, we have the power to break those cycles,
Yeah.
to create a different future
Absolutely.
for ourselves and for future generations.
Yeah, that's powerful.
It's a powerful message of hope and resilience.
It is, and it's interesting how he pairs that with his incredible openness
Yeah.
about his own struggles,
Yeah.
which, like, contrasts with that tough guy persona.
Right.
He even shares a story about how Chris Williamson's bully
Oh, wow.
reached out after years of guilt,
Really?
expressing remorse, wanting to change.
Yeah.
It speaks to the power of Goggins' message,
Yeah.
you know, and the power of vulnerability.
To open hearts and minds.
Yeah.
So how does Goggins define peace?
Yeah, that's an interesting one.
Because it's not about tranquility, right?
No.
Or avoiding discomfort.
Right.
He describes it as this hard-won satisfaction of facing your demons
Mm.
and achieving self-mastery.
So it's a peace forged through struggle,
Mhm.
through resilience,
Right.
through that pursuit
Yeah.
of personal growth.
So it's not about reaching, like, a destination.
Yeah.
It's about, like, embracing the journey
Yeah. Yeah.
of becoming a stronger, more resilient version of yourself.
It connects back to his whole philosophy.
Yeah.
Fulfillment doesn't come from comfort and ease. It
Mhm.
comes from pushing past
Was
those
the-
limitations, embracing the discomfort that leads to real transformation.
And what's next for Goggins?
Well, he's stepping back
Oh, wow.
from the public eye for a while.
Hmm.
He wants to focus on his personal growth, exploration.
Wow.
Yeah,
It's pretty incredible to think about, right?
it is.
Someone who has achieved so much
Yeah,
still sees himself as a work in progress.
always growing.
It's a powerful message for all of us,
It is.
no matter where we are in our own journeys,
Absolutely.
that there's always room for growth.
Yeah. And the pursuit
Yeah.
of our full potential.
That's awesome.
It is.
All right, so let's dig into another really fascinating part of his philosophy.
Okay.
This idea of performance without a purpose.
Interesting.
It challenges us to reconsider, like, why we do the things we do,
Our motivations.
our motivations.
Yeah.
We shouldn't be solely driven
Mm-hmm.
by external goals or deadlines.
Right.
It's about cultivating
An internal drive.
an internal drive.
Yeah. Commitment to excellence.
Not about achieving a specific outcome,
Right.
but about, like, showing up,
Showing up
giving your best effort no matter what.
regardless of the circumstances.
So it's not about the reward or the recognition.
Right.
It's about the process.
Yeah.
It's about, like, constantly striving to improve even when there's no, like, pressure.
pressure or deadlines.
Yeah, no deadline.
Interesting.
So it's about developing this mindset where you're just committed to doing your best
Yeah.
simply because you respect yourself and your abilities.
I like that.
And this really ties into that whole capping success thing.
There
right?
it is. Yeah.
That, like, external validation
Right.
can actually become a hindrance to true growth.
Not a distraction.
A distraction, yeah.
Yeah.
So, it's about finding that fulfillment in the journey itself,
Right.
not just in the destination,
Not the end goal.
not the end goal.
But how do we actually do that?
It's a good question.
How do we cultivate that performance without a purpose?
Yeah.
Where's the drive when there's no external pressure?
He talks about developing a mission statement for yourself.
Oh,
It's like a set of values and principles that guide your actions.
So it's about holding yourself accountable.
Yeah.
Those values.
Regardless of whether anyone's watching or judging.
Powerful.
It's about developing that deep sense of, like, integrity
Mm-hmm.
and self-discipline.
And that's what resonates, right?
Yeah.
It's not just about those external goals,
Yeah.
but about building character.
Becoming the best version of yourself.
And he has this technique.
Okay.
He calls it Roger that.
What?
Yeah, Roger that.
That's it.
It's simple, but it's loaded for him. It's about taking ownership, committing to action, delivering results.
Mm.
He describes it as received orders, given, expect results.
So it's all about accountability
Accountability.
and
It's
execution.
execution.
Yeah, it's a powerful reminder, right?
It is.
That we have the power to choose our response to any situation.
We can complain.
We can
Give
complain,
excuses.
or we can step up and take action.
That shapes our lives.
It does.
It does.
And speaking of choices, he talks about
Yeah.
his relationships with Joe Rogan and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson,
Oh, wow.
both incredibly successful, driven individuals.
Yeah.
And he sees this common thread among them.
Common thread. Yeah. What is it?
This genuine desire to champion others.
Hmm.
He talks about how Rogan believes there's enough success to go around,
I like that.
that everyone has the potential to achieve their goals. Yeah. And he describes The Rock as, like, incredibly supportive,
Wow.
generous,
Always willing to lend a hand.
always willing to lend a hand.
That's cool.
It's a really refreshing perspective
It is.
because it challenges that idea that success is a zero-sum game.
Right. That there's only so much to go around.
Yeah, like, if you win, I lose.
Right.
But he's saying, no, there's room for everyone to win.
Yeah.
And in fact, the most successful people
Yeah.
are often the ones who are willing to lift others up along the way.
It's a powerful message, especially in a world that often celebrates competition,
Competition, yeah.
individualism.
He's reminding us that we can achieve more
Yeah.
when we collaborate,
Collaborate,
support each other,
support each other.
and have a shared commitment to growth.
Yeah.
So what about Goggins' plans for the future?
Well, after the whirlwind of releasing this new book,
Mm-hmm.
he's decided to step back
Really?
from the public eye for a while,
Wow.
focus on his personal growth.
It's incredible, right?
Yeah.
That someone who has achieved so much
So much.
still sees themselves as a work in progress.
It speaks to the core of his message.
Yeah.
Growth is a lifelong process.
Hmm?
It's not about reaching a destination. It's
No.
about embracing the journey and constantly pushing yourself.
To evolve.
Yeah.
It's an incredible example for all of us.
Absolutely.
No matter where we are in our lives, there's always room
For growth.
for growth
Evolution.
and the pursuit of our full potential.
The key is to stay curious,
Yeah.
Stay hungry for knowledge. Never stop exploring
Those uncharted territories.
within ourselves.
That's awesome. All right, let's talk about peace.
Okay.
Most people, when they talk about finding peace, they imagine like
Tranquility.
sitting on a beach somewhere, completely relaxed.
Right. Carefree. Yeah.
Carefree. Yeah. Goggins has a completely different perspective.
Oh, he does.
Yeah.
What is it?
For him, it's not about the absence of struggle.
Yeah.
It's about the satisfaction that comes from overcoming it.
Overcoming the struggle.
Overcoming the struggle.
Interesting.
It's about facing those inner demons and achieving self-mastery.
So it's a hard one piece.
It's a hard one piece, right?
Yeah.
Earned through that, like relentless self-work.
Yeah.
Willingness to confront those darker parts of himself.
It challenges how we think about peace.
It really does, right?
Yeah.
Because he's saying it's not about reaching this like perfect state of contentment.
Right. Or bliss.
Bliss, yeah. It's about finding that wholeness and strength, that sense of resilience, even when things are tough.
And that gets to the heart of his message.
It really does.
Doesn't it?
He's not promising like a life without pain or hardship,
Right.
but rather a life where those challenges
Right.
become opportunities to evolve,
Yeah, I like that.
to become a stronger version of yourself.
He's reminding us.
Yeah.
It's often in those moments of discomfort, those challenges that push us to our limits,
Yeah.
that we discover our true potential.
It's like he's saying, don't shy away from the hard stuff.
Lean in.
Lean into it. Embrace it.
That's where the growth happens.
That's where the growth happens. Okay, before we wrap up,
Yeah.
I want to touch on one more thing.
Okay.
Remember when he went into Andrew Huberman's lab
Oh, yeah. Huberman.
and experienced that VR simulation
VR. Yeah.
with the sharks?
Oh, with the sharks. I remember that.
You'd think a guy who like thrives
On pushing limits.
on pushing limits in real life
Yeah.
would be totally freaked out
Right.
by a VR
It
simulation.
makes sense. But he wasn't
He wasn't fazed.
at all.
It makes sense when you think about his mindset.
Yeah.
For him, VR lacks real-world consequences.
Right.
It's a simulation.
It's not real.
His mind knows it.
So even though it might be visually immersive
Right.
and feel real,
It doesn't trigger the same response.
Yeah.
Not the same physiological and psychological response as a genuine threat.
yeah.
It's fascinating.
So it really speaks to this idea that Goggins is all about facing reality, confronting those real-world challenges,
Yeah.
developing the mental toughness to overcome them.
He doesn't want simulated discomfort.
No.
He wants to test himself in those real-life experiences.
Yeah, he wants the real deal.
the real deal.
That's authenticity.
It is.
Unwavering commitment.
Yeah.
To self-mastery.
Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive into the world of David Goggins,
Yeah.
what are some of the key takeaways for our listeners?
Well, I think Goggins' message is one of empowerment.
Empowerment.
Yeah.
He's showing us that we all have this potential for incredible strength.
Resilience.
Resilience, but it requires
A willingness to embrace,
to embrace discomfort,
challenge those limits.
confront our fears head on.
Exactly.
He's encouraging us to cultivate that performance without a purpose mindset,
Right, striving for excellence.
not for the accolades,
Not for the validation.
but for like the satisfaction of becoming the best version of ourselves.
Yeah, he emphasizes creating that mental clarity and organization.
Yeah, using those tools like meditation
Self-reflection.
to declutter our minds and build those mental structures
That support discipline.
and inconsistency.
And he reminds us that we don't have to be defined by our past experiences.
Right.
Whether those are traumas.
Or failure.
We can use those experiences as fuel for growth and transformation.
Goggins' journey is a testament to the power
Of what?
of self-belief,
Self-belief.
hard work,
Hard work.
relentless pursuit of
Exactly.
self-mastery
He shows us that we're all capable of far more
than we believe.
than we believe. And that real peace, that fulfillment comes not from comfort,
Yeah.
complacency,
But from pushing ourselves
to the edge of our capabilities.
gracing the journey.
The journey of becoming.
So as you go about your day, remember Goggins' challenge.
What's that one thing you keep putting off? That one thing that would truly test your limits, push you to grow.
What discomfort
Yeah.
are you avoiding?
Yeah, what discomfort?
That could lead to a profound sense of satisfaction.
Fulfillment.
Yeah.
The choice is yours.
And the time, as Goggins would say, is now.
You would say that.
You would.
All right. So we're going to shift gears a little bit.
Okay.
We're going to dive into this concept of built belief.
Okay. Yeah.
Goggins really emphasizes this idea
Mm-hmm.
that true confidence doesn't come from positive self-talk
Right.
or affirmations.
Yeah.
It's about stacking up
Evidence.
evidence of your own capabilities.
Like a lawyer.
Yeah, like a lawyer building a case.
Yeah.
It's about like proving to yourself,
To yourself, not to anyone else.
just to anyone else,
Yeah.
that you're capable of more
More than you think.
than you think.
He calls this built belief.
Build belief.
Yeah.
And it's that kind of confidence that comes from pushing past those perceived limits and proving it to yourself.
Yeah.
Not to anyone else.
Not to anyone else. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he uses himself, of course,
Of course.
as the ultimate example.
Constantly pushing himself to the brink,
Yeah.
tackling those seemingly impossible challenges.
Each one becomes part of his mental arsenal.
Yeah, like adding tools to his toolbox.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like building a case
For your own potential.
for your own potential.
Yeah, love that.
And what's so powerful about this, right,
Yeah.
is that it moves you away from needing validation
From other people.
from other people.
It's about cultivating that deep inner confidence,
Yeah.
rooted in your own experience.
Rooted in your own
Accomplishment.
an accomplishment.
Unshakable.
Unshakable. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it makes me think about how he uses negativity as fuel.
Oh, yeah, the hate messages.
The hate message.
Fueling the fire.
He's weaponizing those negative voices
Yeah.
and using them to push himself harder.
Most people would avoid that.
Yeah.
Like the plague.
Totally
But he confronts them
head on.
head on.
He even takes it a step further, right?
He does.
He views music as a form of cheating during training because it provides like an escape,
Oh, a distraction.
a distraction from that internal struggle.
Yeah.
He wants to face that silence of his mind
Mm-hmm.
and those negative external voices
Without any distraction.
without any distractions.
Interesting.
So he's intentionally choosing to train
Yeah.
in the most mentally demanding environment.
Wow. That's intense.
It's intense,
It
right?
reveals something deeper
What's that?
about his approach to mental toughness. It's
Yeah.
not about seeking comfort or ease.
Right.
It's about seeking out challenges
Challenges
and his discomfort.
as a means of growth.
So instead of running from pain,
He's using it.
speaker,
He's using it as a catalyst for transformation.
it's a powerful concept.
It is.
And it challenges how we think about discomfort.
Totally, yeah.
You know, we're conditioned to avoid it.
To seek out ease.
Convenience.
Yeah.
But Goggins is saying, what if discomfort,
Yeah.
when approached intentionally,
Right.
is actually the key
To growth.
to unlocking true growth?
Unlocking
Yeah.
resilience.
So it's like shifting our perspective, right?
Yeah.
Viewing pain
As a necessary ingredient.
is a necessary
to
ingredient.
self-improvement.
Okay, so let's talk about
Yeah.
Goggins' emphasis
Yeah.
on mental clarity,
Mental clarity.
organization,
Yeah. So he dedicates
a lot of time each day
significant, yeah,
to meditation.
meditation.
And he's using
In
it
front of clutter.
to declutter his mind, create these things he calls mental zones.
It's like mental hygiene.
Mm.
You know, just as we take care of our physical bodies,
Right.
he's saying we need to take care of our minds.
Yeah.
Meditation for him is
It's like actively
actively organizing thoughts.
creating mental structures that support.
Discipline, consistency,
He compares it to like having a well-organized garage.
where everything has its place.
Right, right.
And it's easily accessible.
Yeah, whereas our minds are like
Cluttered.
a cluttered mess.
It makes it so hard to find those tools,
Right.
to stay focused.
and motivated.
So how do we create these mental zones?
Right. Do we all need to meditate for 2 hours?
That's a great question, right?
Yeah.
While 2 hours of meditation might not be realistic for everyone,
Sure.
I think the key takeaway is that we need to find those practices
Right.
that help us create
Mental clarity.
mental clarity and organization.
Whether it's meditation, journaling,
Yeah.
even a structured daily routine,
The key is to find what works for you
and commit to it.
and commit to it, yeah.
Mental fit, like physical fitness,
It requires
ongoing effort
ongoing effort.
and maintenance.
Okay, so let's dive into
Okay.
Goggins' daily routine.
It's intense,
They're pretty
to
intense.
say the least,
At least a 12-mile run
every day.
before he even eats anything, just to, like, prime himself for the day.
It's a reminder that he's not afraid of discomfort.
Right, he embraces it.
embraces it,
as part of his growth process.
sets the tone for the rest of his day.
Right, which is filled with
Relentless pursuit of...
physical and mental mastery.
He does strength training, stretching, cycling.
And then those 2-hour meditation sessions.
Yeah.
It's a level of dedication.
That's a different mindset, you know?
It is.
Most of us, we prioritize comfort and convenience.
Yeah.
But Goggins prioritizes growth.
Challenge.
Challenge.
And his daily routine reflects that.
He embodies it.
He embodies it, yeah.
He's not just talking about it.
He's living it.
Living it, yeah.
All right, so let's shift gears a little bit
Okay.
and explore Goggins' exploration
Yeah.
of his past trauma
His past, yeah.
and his decision to confront his abusive father.
Difficult stuff.
This is detailed and never finished.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very personal side
It is.
of Goggins that we see here.
Vulnerability.
We see a vulnerability and a willingness to share, like, his deepest pain.
In the audiobook, you
Yeah.
can hear the raw emotion.
His mom recounts her own experiences,
Mm-hmm.
the abuse that she endured,
The strength it took to leave.
and the strength it took to finally leave.
It's a powerful testament
It is,
to the enduring nature of trauma.
but also to the courage it takes to face those
To
demons
heal.
and begin to heal. Yeah.
And he goes deeper. He
Yeah.
talks about the cyclical nature of trauma.
Exploring how his father's own upbringing
Right.
contributed to the patterns of violence that he perpetuated.
It's heartbreaking.
It's heartbreaking to see how these
It
cycles
can repeat.
can repeat through generations.
But it's also a testament to our capacity for change.
Yeah.
You know, we're not destined to repeat the mistakes of the past.
Goggins is a powerful example of that.
He chose to break free
Yeah.
from those negative patterns.
Create a different future.
A different future.
It's a message of hope and resilience.
It is, and it's remarkable how he pairs that message
Yeah.
with his own vulnerability.
Yeah. He openly shares his struggles, his moments of doubt,
His ongoing battle.
his ongoing battle with his inner demons.
It makes him relatable,
It does.
and his message even more powerful.
You know, here's this guy who we think of as almost superhuman,
Yeah.
and he's showing us,
It's okay to not be perfect,
yeah,
to struggle, to have doubts,
we don't have to be invincible.
to achieve greatness.
He even shares this story
Ah.
about Chris Williamson's bully
Oh, the bully.
reaching out to him
Really?
after years of guilt,
Wow.
wanting to apologize, make amends.
That's the power of vulnerability.
Yeah,
Forgiveness.
It can open hearts and minds.
It shows that even those who have inflicted pain
Yeah.
can change.
Choose a different path
There's always the possibility.
of redemption and growth.
Oh. Let's talk about peace.
Yeah.
How Goggins defines peace.
So he says it's not about tranquility.
Or escaping discomfort.
He describes it as
Hard-won satisfaction.
hard-won satisfaction that comes from
Facing your demons.
facing your demons, achieving self-mastery,
So it's a peace that's forged through struggle.
resilience.
Relentless pursuit of personal growth.
So it's not about reaching a destination,
It's about embracing the journey.
embracing the journey of becoming a stronger, more resilient version of yourself.
It brings us back to this idea.
That true fulfillment doesn't come from comfort,
And ease.
but from pushing past our limitations,
And embracing the discomfort.
embracing the discomfort.
That leads to real transformation.
Goggins embodies this
He does.
in everything he does.
He doesn't just talk about it.
Yeah.
He lives it.
And even after all he's accomplished, he's still on that journey
Self-discovery.
of self-discovery.
He's not content to rest on his laurels.
Which brings us to his decision to step back from the public eye for a while,
Yeah.
to focus on his own personal growth.
Wow. That's incredible.
That's pretty incredible.
To think that someone
Who's achieved so much.
still sees himself as a work in progress.
It speaks to the core of Goggins' message,
Yeah.
that growth is a lifelong process.
It's not about reaching the destination.
It's about embracing the journey
Embracing the journey.
and constantly pushing yourself to evolve.
He's setting an incredible example
He is.
for all us.
No matter where we are in our lives,
There's always room for growth.
always room
Evolution.
and the pursuit of our full potential.
The key is to stay curious.
Stay hungry for knowledge.
Never stop exploring.
Those uncharted territories.
Within ourselves.
It's amazing, right? You think about someone who has achieved so much but still sees themselves as a work in progress. That's pretty inspiring.
It really is. It speaks to the core of his message.
Yeah.
Growth is a lifelong process.
Right. It's not about reaching the destination. It's about embracing the journey and constantly pushing yourself to evolve.
Exactly. He's setting an incredible example for all of us.
He is.
No matter where we are in our lives, there's always room for growth, evolution, and the pursuit of our full potential.
Yeah, the key is to stay curious, stay hungry for knowledge, never stop exploring those uncharted territories within ourselves.
Absolutely. You know, it's funny, when most people talk about finding peace, they picture this tranquil scene like sitting on a beach somewhere, completely relaxed and carefree. But Goggins has a totally different perspective.
He does, doesn't he? What is it?
For Goggins, peace isn't about the absence of struggle. It's about the satisfaction of overcoming it.
Overcoming the struggle.
Yeah. It's about facing those inner demons and achieving self-mastery. It's a hard-won piece.
That is a hard one piece, right?
Yeah, earned through relentless self-work and a willingness to confront those darker parts of himself.
So it's not about avoiding those difficult emotions or experiences, but about like leaning into them, using them as fuel for growth and transformation.
Exactly. And it's a really powerful idea because it challenges how we typically think about peace. Goggins is saying it's not about reaching this perfect state of contentment or bliss.
Right.
It's about finding that wholeness and strength, that sense of resilience, even when things are tough.
And that gets to the heart of his message, right?
It does.
He's not promising a life without pain or hardship, but rather a life where those challenges become opportunities.
Yeah, I like that.
Opportunities to evolve and become a stronger version of yourself.
He's reminding us that it's often in those moments of discomfort, those challenges that push us to our limits, that we discover our true potential.
It's like he's saying, don't shy away from the hard stuff. Lean into it. Embrace it.
That's where the growth happens.
That's where the growth happens.
Yeah.
Okay, before we wrap up, I want to touch on one more interesting part of Goggins' story.
Okay.
Remember when he went into Andrew Huberman's lab and experienced that VR simulation with the sharks?
Oh, with the sharks. Yeah, I remember that.
You'd think a guy who, like, thrives on pushing limits in real life would be totally freaked out by a VR simulation.
Right.
But he wasn't.
He wasn't fazed.
No.
It makes sense when you think about his mindset, though. For him, VR lacks those real-world consequences.
Right.
It's a simulation.
It's not real.
His mind knows it.
So even though it might be visually immersive and feel real,
Yeah.
it doesn't trigger that same response.
Yeah.
Not the same physiological and psychological response as a genuine threat.
Yeah.
It's fascinating.
So it really speaks to this idea that Goggins is all about facing reality, confronting those real-world challenges,
Yeah?
developing the mental toughness to overcome them. He doesn't want simulated discomfort.
No.
He wants to test himself in those real-life experiences.
The real deal.
That's authenticity.
It is.
Unwavering commitment to self-mastery.
Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive into the world of David Goggins, what are some of the key takeaways for our listeners? What can they apply to their own lives?
I think Goggins' message is one of empowerment.
Empowerment.
Yeah. He's showing us that we all have this potential for incredible strength and resilience. But it takes work.
It does. What kind of work?
A willingness to embrace discomfort, challenge those limits, and confront those fears head on.
He's encouraging us to cultivate that performance without a purpose mindset.
Right. Striving for excellence, not for accolades.
Not for the validation.
But for the satisfaction of becoming the best versions of ourselves.
Yeah, he emphasizes creating that mental clarity and organization.
Using tools like meditation.
Self-reflection.
Yeah, to declutter our minds and build those mental structures that support discipline and consistency.
And he reminds us that we don't have to be defined by our past experiences.
Right.
Whether those are traumas or failures. We can use those experiences as fuel for growth and transformation.
Goggins' journey is a testament to the power of self-belief, hard work, and that relentless pursuit of self-mastery.
Powerful stuff.
He shows us that we're all capable of far more than we often believe.
And that real peace, that fulfillment, that deep sense of satisfaction comes not from comfort.
And complacency.
But from pushing ourselves.
To the edge of our capabilities.
To the edge, yeah.
Embracing the journey of becoming.
So as you go about your day, remember Goggins' challenge. What's that one thing you keep putting off? That one thing that would truly test your limits and push you to grow?
What discomfort are you avoiding that could actually lead to a profound sense of satisfaction and fulfillment?
The choice is yours.
And the time, as Goggins would say, is now.
He would say that. Well, that's it for our deep dive into the mind of David Goggins. We hope you found it as insightful and inspiring as we did.
Absolutely. Remember, it's all about embracing the journey, pushing those limits, and becoming the best version of yourself.
Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time on The Deep Dive.